You made it clear before that you would not support final passage of the House budget blueprint if it retained the massive proposed cuts to Medicaid. But you bit the bullet, and you voted for it anyway to keep the process moving along. Well, the Senate was not in a bullet-biting mood this past week. They're using some of that creative accounting that we talked about to avoid those painful discussions for now, and they passed a plan that would, if it actually went into effect, explode the deficit. The House hardliners are up in arms. They say it's dead on arrival. What do you say?
Well, I think there's a huge problem with this legislation that moved out of the Senate. It gives us the opportunity to do two things: the Senate theirs and the House their version. But ultimately, we have to have a product that can actually make it through both houses because, as we all know, legislation has to be identical in both before it could ever make it to the president's desk. Now, as far as what we see on the process, the legislation in the Senate, I know the hardliners are opposed to it, and I know that the activist groups out there are going to attack the one that's in the House, but I don't believe the president supports how far the House version is going, and I don't believe the Senate version is going to make it through. So I think, as the senator just said, it's going to be a lot of hard work. It's going to be some compromise on both sides, but ultimately, I think we'll be able to deliver on a final product.
What do you think about this idea of the accounting gimmick where you don't have to account for the legislation to extend the tax cuts? Are you okay with that?
I'm uncomfortable with it because I think the precedent is important to keep, and it's important for us to always acknowledge that we have to take responsibility and take accurate representation of what our numbers are. And it's a frustrating thing, but with our slim majorities, I think they're looking for any avenue to get the tax bill across the line.
Okay, let's talk about tariffs. You are a former dairy farmer yourself. California, by the way. Hey, Minnesota, Wisconsin, California, the #1 dairy state in the union. You just heard Senator Marshall from another big ag state make the case for short-term pain for long-term gain. California's Central Valley is one of the most important agricultural regions in the world. That's what you represent. What's the view from out there?
You know, I hear it from all different fronts. I've got a few commodities actually asking for tariffs, and I've got other commodities absolutely scared to death of them. And that's the frustrating thing is it just depends on the country. My almond guys, 70% of their almonds leave the country, and so they're obviously very concerned. My lemon guys are concerned that Argentina wasn't included in the list because of the unfair trade advantages that they have. And like you said, as a dairy farmer, I used to go to Washington, D.C., and knock on doors of members of Congress and talk about tariffs in a positive way, but it was more to offset some of the subsidies we were competing with and some of the regulatory differences we were competing with. And you have countries that don't have to follow any of our regulatory standards, our labor practices, or any of the things that we have to do here, and they're competing with me at the grocery store shelf, and it was frustrating. We want a level playing field. And so is there a place for them to be used in a proper way? Absolutely.
So the goal here would be to push tariffs down generally, to use this pain to push tariffs down in other countries and level the playing field in your mind, not to keep tariffs in place for protectionism to help the manufacturing sector.
Yes, from my perspective, I think they should be used as a tool to get to a level playing field. I won't speak for the administration on this front, but obviously I think that we can compete on a level playing field with almost anyone in the world. We just have to make sure we're able to get there.
Okay, Don Bacon, your fellow Republican, House Republican, is crafting a companion bill to the one in the Senate that would claw back some of the tariff power for Congress. Is that something that you could support?
It probably is. I need to take a little bit better look at it. I've already heard that the Speaker's not opposed to, or not supportive of it, obviously, but it is something that should be considered. I've always been someone who supports giving power back to the Congress, the way our founding fathers originally designed, and this is one of those powers that belongs in the Congress, and we should be looking at that in, I think, a very serious manner.
Okay, we know your office has been flooded with calls from constituents worried about immigration raids as the administration shifts from border security to internal enforcement. There are these huge legal fights raging over the president's power to ship those deemed undesirable to a prison camp in El Salvador, with lots of folks saying that due process is being ignored, while others say this is a country we are at war with criminal cartels. Where are you on this, and how are you talking to your constituents about it?
Well, immigration's always been an issue that has been really touched in my district. Obviously, agriculture is very dependent on a legal workforce, and currently we don't have laws that work for us. And so I've always been a lot more sympathetic than I think the average Republican. But we've got a situation the previous 4 years under the Biden administration, we've allowed a lot of people, dangerous criminals, into our country. So we have to process them as quickly as possible. But I really do want to make sure that the administration targets specifically the criminals who are here to do us harm and not do anything that can hurt any of our production. I mean, 70% of the workforce in agriculture is undocumented. 80% of the workforce in construction is undocumented. And if you're going to try to lower the cost of these goods or homes, you've got to make sure that you protect the workforce. And I think we have to pass laws that work for us in the U.S., make us competitive, and allow us to protect those who are making sure we're fed and housed.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.